Hey, what's up guys? I'm gonna be here back with another Fortnite video. This video is about Fortnite, of course. And yeah, it's pretty much just saying how Fortnite is doing right now and how I don't think it's doing very well because of the mechs and all that. That's just my personal opinion. My own personal opinion. It can be some of your own personal opinions that Fortnite's even better before than ever, but my personal opinion has gotten even worse. So if you guys think that I'm wrong, it's just my personal opinion, and you can have an opinion. Everyone can have their opinion of their own. So yeah, this is going to be about how Fortnite's doing in the long run right now, how they just reverted turbo building back to its original state because of how many mistakes they've made over in the past. But, I mean, it just depends on who you are, really. I used to be a really good player back in the day. I've gotten around 12 wins this season. I'm a decent Fortnite player. I don't get wins all the time, you know, but people get wins, and I like it. I loved it whenever mechs were gone because I could actually enjoy the game how I wanted to enjoy it with no mobility except for the drift boards and no mechs in the area trying to spam you with their rockets. It felt really chill that whole entire game. I got around 7 kills. And honestly, if you ever run into a mech, dog, it's you can't really do anything about it. Like, if you run into a mech in duos, you're like, oh shoot, like they can move and shoot at the same time, just like a regular player can, but they can fire off 6 to 10 rockets a second. And then they have buffed health and everything. Like, who does Epic think they are? Like, just because they're the creator of the game doesn't mean anything. They're literally ruining their game that they made for entertainment purposes. And it just astounds me that they would actually do that. Because they're trying to make their game great, and they're ruining it by making the mechs come in. And it just astounds me how they think it's actually a good idea to do that. Because who wants a mech in the game whenever you're trying to build fight or something? They can easily knock you down in literally a couple rockets because the rockets do all structure damage. It takes one rocket to destroy like all your builds, and it doesn't make a difference how many builds you've placed. It goes through your builds no matter what. And it just astounds me that they're ruining their game so much that they're just blinded by how many things they're getting and how rich they are, because they get millions a day probably just from the United States, I bet. And people are supporting this game so they can make Fortnite great again. And it's pretty much like if people were actually running Epic that had brain cells, they'd know that this is ruining their game and they should stop. But they don't know that because they're stupid. They have no brain cells, and they're to the point that they're corrupted. They're so corrupted to the point that they don't even care what the community thinks about them. And it's crazy how I feel like I can't kill a mech because it has overpowered amounts of health. Like, why can't players have 1,000 HP but mechs can? And then plus if you had 100 shield, 100 health, and 2 players were in the mechs, then that would be so 200 and then 1,250. That would almost be 2,000 HP just from one mech. And it's crazy because then you're like shooting at the other player, blah 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 blah. If you take out their shield first and then the mechs, and then you take out the mech, then you're technically taking down like almost 1,600 HP. It's just crazy how they're still allowing to like do stuff like that. And it's just crazy how you think, if you think about it real hard though, like who would have almost 2,000 HP but still be able to get into a mech? Like if we had 1,000 HP and the guns were like up to like did like up to 100 damage every single shot, like scars would do for like a body for 40 and not 36, because who wants to do 36 to a mech whenever you could do 80 damage a second? And that counts for other players as well. Like you could do so much damage a second. That is crazy enough to do that. So they're crazy enough to, so pretty much there was this tweet a little bit ago that said, we took a long time developing this skin, and someone tweeted that, so it took you, so this is their words, I don't remember exactly what they said, but here's what I remember. It took you a very long time to upload a skin, but it took you like a couple seconds to say that there's like mechs or something. And it just astounds me how they still support the mech idea and they're still getting hatred for it, but they don't care. And it kind of makes me so mad because they reverted so much stuff. Like the reverted turbo building, I deleted my whole entire island because that was gone, dude. Like they need to like discuss this with the community and say, oh, should we revert turbo building, or should we like make turbo building slower or something, not just do it on their own and say, oh, we did this because of a player skill gap, when it wasn't even because of that. Because every single person, I bet, is actually a decent player even though they're new. And you just make them even better by giving them mechs and reverting turbo building for other players, because they are better than the other players whenever it takes skill to do stuff like that. It makes me astound how they think that they're so above us, and just because we're the community for this dumb game that I play this every day of my life, and it's just crazy how they think that, oh, just because we have all the money that you just gave us, we are better than you. That's pretty much saying that the lower classes and the middle classes are not the same at all. Which they aren't, but you get the point. Alright, I was trying to say that the middle classes and the smaller classes are like the same, but not the same at the same time. You're trying to say that we're the ones who are making the game worse. You guys suck. We are better. We know what we're doing. We're game developers. Blah, 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 blah. And they did like they make them sound so generous whenever they reverted turbo building back to its original state. But I already know that, I feel like since they're being this nice, they would never do that, because all the stuff that they've done to this game already has already ruined it. Season 10 ruined it. Everything, dude. Pretty much this whole game is ruined because of mechs, reverting turbo building, and other things across the line of that. That was my discussion for Fortnite, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.